Hello guys, welcome to Interchange to Unit 11. It's really worth seeing. In this unit, we're going to talk about the active and the passive voice. Let's begin. Amazing facts about amazing landmarks. The Eiffel Tower. When it was opened in 1889, the tower was red. After a decade, it was painted yellow, and later it was covered in different shades of brown. Machu Picchu. It is located 2,430 meters, 7,972 feet above sea level, and it has resisted several earthquakes. When there is an earthquake, the stones dance and fall back into place. The Neuschwanstein Castle. This beautiful castle in Germany was the inspiration for the Walt Disney Magic Kingdom Sleeping Beauty Castle. Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan. It's made of a few volcanoes. The last recorded eruption started in 1707. The Statue of Liberty. The 350 pieces were made in France and then shipped to the United States. Big Ben. The tower is named Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is the name of the bell inside it. Passive with by. Simple past. The passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that receives an action, rather than the person or object that performs the action. If we want to say who or what performs the action, we use the preposition by. For example, that video was watched by many people. The song Hello was written by Adele. America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. First, we mention the object, then the verb to be, the verb in the past participle, by, and after by, we mention who or what did the action. So in this case, that video was watched by many people. That means that a lot of people watched that video. The song Hello was written by Adele. That means that Adele wrote this song. And the last one, America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. That means that Christopher Columbus discovered America. We're just emphasizing on the object rather than the subject. Passive with by, simple past. Here we have the formula to create sentences with the active voice and with the passive voice. In this case, in the past or simple past. To create sentences in the active voice, we normally have a subject, a verb, and an object. For example, my mother wrote that letter. Italians invented the pizza. William Lamb designed the Empire State Building. Rina ate 2 hamburgers. So in this case, first we mention the subject or the person or thing that did the action. Then we mention the action or the verb. And at the end, we mention the object. The object is what or who received the action. So my mother wrote. She wrote what? She wrote that letter. Italians invented what? Pizza or the pizza. William Lamb designed. He designed what? The Empire State Building. And the last one, Rina ate. What did she eat? She ate 2 hamburgers. So the object is what received the action. Now, for the passive, we start with the object, then we need the verb to be, in this case in the past, because this is the passive with by in the simple past. After the verb to be in the past, we need the verb in the past participle. Remember, the past participle is the third form of any verb. After that, we need by. By, the preposition by, is used to indicate who or what did the action. And after by, we need the subject. For example, that letter was written by my mother. The pizza was invented by Italians. The Empire State Building was designed by William Lamb. And 2 hamburgers were eaten by Rina. If you analyze these sentences in the passive, express the same idea that you are expressing here in the active. The only difference is that here we are emphasizing on the subject. And here we are emphasizing on the object. We are giving more importance to the object here. Here we have a conversation between Lisa and Eric. They were talking about the Netherlands. Let's listen to their conversation.
Page 75. Exercise 8. Conversation. What do you want to know? Part A. Listen and practice.
Eric, you're from Amsterdam, aren't you?
Yeah, why?
I'm going there for a conference, and I'd like some information.
Sure, what do you want to know?
Do you use the euro in the Netherlands?
Yes, the euro is used in most of Europe, you know.
And do I need to take euros with me?
Not really. International credit cards are accepted everywhere, and they're much safer.
Of course. And what should I buy there?
Cheese, definitely. We raise dairy cows, and some really excellent cheese is made from their milk.
Good. I love cheese. Where is it sold?
You can find it at cheese shops all around the city. And don't forget to bring me a piece.
Now, we're going to see some verbs and some possible nouns that we can use with them. Speak. Speak is the action of using the mouth to make sounds that are used to communicate with others. In this case, we can speak a language or a dialect. Some examples of languages are Chinese, Portuguese, Italian, French, Spanish, among others. On the other hand, a dialect is the way in which somebody speaks the language. For example, in Latin America, we have some countries such as Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Chile. In those countries, people speak the same language. People speak Spanish, but they speak Spanish in a different way. I mean, they use some different words and also they have a different accent. So that is a dialect. Find. Find is similar to locate or discover. These are some things that you can find when you travel to another country or to another city. On the left we have handicrafts. These are objects that people make using their hands and usually they sell them. On the right we have souvenirs. Souvenirs are presents or objects that you usually buy in a country or in a city that you are visiting, and you use them to remember when you visited that place. Manufacture. Manufacture is to create, to produce, to fabricate. These are things that people make in a factory or a big industry. On the left we have electronics, electronical things such as a refrigerator, a washing machine, an air conditioner, a fan, television, and on the right we have textiles. Textiles are used to make clothes. Raised. When you raise an animal, you usually have those animals in a specific place. You give them food every day until they are big enough so that you can use them for food or for clothes. So you can raise cattle, bulls and cows. And also you can raise sheep. Grow. Grow is used with plants, with things that you can cultivate. For example, you can grow wheat, you can grow soybeans or any other plants or vegetables that you know. Passive without by, simple present. Sometimes we use the passive voice because we don't know or do not want to express who performs the action. The passive voice is often used in formal texts. For example, the peso is used in the Dominican Republic. Chocolate is exported from Germany. Portuguese is spoken in Brazil and Portugal. So in this case, we have first the object, the peso, chocolate, and Portuguese. Then we have the verb to be in the present, and the verb or the action in the past participle. After that, we have the place where something happens. We are not using by because we are not expressing who is doing the action. We are just expressing where the action is happening. Passive without by, simple present. In this case, we are using the passive voice without by because we are not mentioning who is doing the action. We're just mentioning where the action is happening. And we use the simple present because the action is still happening in the present. Here, this is the formula to create sentences with the active voice. And this one is the formula to create sentences with the passive voice, both in the present. To create sentences with the active voice, we need the subject, the verb, the object, and the place. For example, people grow bananas in Colombia. People grow bananas in Colombia. We use the dollar in the United States. We use the dollar in the United States. People raise chicken in Cuba. People raise chicken in Cuba. Tourists buy a lot of tequila in Mexico. Tourists buy a lot of tequila in Mexico. If you notice, these are things that happen in the present in these countries. First, we mention the subject, then the verb in the present, the object, and the place where these actions happen. People grow what? They grow bananas. Where? In Colombia. We use what? The dollar. When? In the United States. People raise what? They raise chicken or chickens. Where? In Cuba. And the last one, tourists buy. They buy what? They buy a lot of tequila. And where do they buy the tequila? In Mexico. Now for the passive, we need the object, the verb to be, in this case, the verb to be in the present, because these actions are happening nowadays. And then we use the verb in the past participle. Remember, the past participle is the third form of any verb. And after that, we need the place, the location where the actions happen. For example, bananas are grown in Colombia. Bananas are grown in Colombia. The dollar is used in the United States. The dollar is used in the United States. Chickens are raised in Cuba. Chickens are raised in Cuba. A lot of tequila is bought in Mexico. A lot of tequila is bought in Mexico. Again, these sentences are expressing the same in the passive and in the active. The only difference is here, in the active, we are emphasizing more on the subject. And here, in the passive, we are emphasizing more on the object. When you don't use by, it's because you don't know who did the action, or because you don't want to express it, or because it is obvious. For example, in this case, if you say bananas are grown in Colombia, we know that people in Colombia grow the bananas. Or here, the dollar is used in United States or in the United States. Here, it is obvious that the dollar is used by people in the United States, by Americans. That's why we are not mentioning by, because it's not necessary. It is obvious because we are mentioning where the action is happening. That was everything for today, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.